Shalom Aleichem. We have today from Parshas Emor, from the Divrei Torah of Harav Yaakov Galinsky, ztz'l. Look at what he says. This is Harav Yaakov Galinsky, Zecher Tzaddik Levracha, on Vayikra, Parshas Emor. Let's see what he's saying about it. He's talking about an esrog and what it symbolizes. Al tivoeni regel gava. The foot of pride should not go next to me. Should not enter me. In other words, we should try to be humble. We should be humble. Basvarim hakadoshim, in the holy svarim, it says Sefer Halikutim laHarizal, from the Arizal, the great Kabbalist, Tehillim Lamed Vav. It says in Tehillim, Psalms 36, Kasvu, it says, She'esrog nutrikun, al tivoeni regel ga'avo. The foot of pride should not go near me. That, in other words, esrog. Esrog, al tivoeni regel ga'avo. Aleph, Tov, Reish, Gimel. Al tivoeni regel ga'avo. B'yad rishoyim al tinideni. And the hand of Rishoyim should not, I'm not sure what Tinideni, cast me aside perhaps. Tehillim Lamed Vav Yud Beis. Tehillim 36 Yud Beis, the 12th pasuk of the Tehillim. Yes, Stipler ztz'l Kosov Birchas Peretz, and the Stipler says in his Sefer Birchas Peretz, Shelolov Netrikun V'taher libeinu li'avdecha b'yames. Selolov libeinu li'avdecha b'yames. V'taher libeinu li'avdecha b'yames. You please, Hashem, make our hearts, purify our hearts to serve you in truth. Va'anaf eitz avos. Va'anaf eitz avos. And the Aravim, the Hadassim, that would be the Aravim. V'anaf eitz avos, Rashi Tevos, Tarhiveni benafshi oz. So that's avos, ayin beis tov, Tarhiveni benafshi oz. That's from Tehillim, Kof Lamed Ches, Tehillim 138, the third pasuk. V'yesh lahavin ma inyan ramazim leila. What does it mean? These nutrikin. What does it mean? These hints or these initials. So Tarhiveni benafshi oz means please make me proud. My soul should be proud, oz, and strong. In other words, in certain cases, you should be proud if you can. So in other words, that's what the avos, the aravos. V'nakdim amasha darash Rabbi Levi Yitzchak miBerditchev ztz'l. Let's say what Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Berditchev said. Kedushas Levi Emor, Kedushas Levi in this Sedra Emor. The pasuk Bashamayim mima'al v'yal haaretz mitochas. Hashem is God from the heavens above and from the earth mitochas, and under the earth also. Devarim Daled Lamates. That's in Devarim, and Devarim Daled, the fourth Sedra, Lamates 39. Alpi Droshas Chazal, what the Chachamim said. Sanhedrin Tzadik Aleph Amud Beis. The pasuk Yikra El Hashamayim Me'ol V'el Ha'oretz Lodin Amo. Hashem, you should look to the heavens, Me'ol, even further, up into the heavens. V'el Ha'oretz Lodin Imo, and you should call to you should call out to the heavens, above the heavens, V'el Ha'oretz Lodin Amho, and to the earth, Lodin Amo, to Hashem will call to judge his people. Tehillim Tehillim Nun Dalet. That's the 50th Tehillim, the 50th Psalm, Dalet, the fourth verse. Hashamayim Zo Haneshama. When it says Hashamayim, this means the Neshama. V'ha'aretz Zeh Haguf. And the V'ha'aretz, the earth, Zeh Haguf, this is the body. V'zo Kavanas HaKosev. This is what the pasuk is saying. Bashamayim, Kalomar B'tzarchei Shamayim. Bashamayim. When it says Yikra El Hashamayim Me'ol, you should look from to the Shamayim even further, up into the Shamayim. So Bashamayim, Kalomar B'tzarchei Shamayim. Dahainu B'tzarchei Neshama. Okay. Dahainu B'tzarchei Kalomar B'tzarchei Shamayim. Dahainu. Oh yeah. The Zo Kavonas HaKosev. This is what the pasuk is saying. This is what it means. The Kavona. Bashamayim, Kalomar B'tzorchei Shamayim. You should look into the heavens. In other words, B'tzorchei Shamayim, things having to do the heavenly needs, meaning the mitzvos and the Torah, the mitzvos, and doing good. Dahainu B'tzorchei HaNeshama. These are the things having to do with the neshama, with the soul, with the neshama. Masha Nogeya Li Abdus Habore Baruchu. What has to do with serving Hashem. Tistakel mima'al. You should look even further up. Al davar shehu mima'al lecho. On something that is further above, over you. Al ha-tzaddik sheyesh biyado ma'asim tovim yoter mimecha. Go look at a tzaddik who has much greater ma'asim tovim than you do. He has does mitzvot in a better way. In other words, you should look above you. Then you should understand we should understand our lowliness. That look at these great tzaddikim, and we are doing what we can, but we're not. We don't come to what they do. V'al ha'aretz, and on the v'al ha'aretz, when it says on the earth, v'yiskei haguf. This has to do with with matters having to do with the body. Hanogim la'olam hazeh, having to do with this world. Mitochas, you should look down, further down. Perush tistakel b'ma shelamata mimecha. You should look at situations that are even lower than what you have. Sheyesh ani yoter mimecha. That there are aniyim, there are poor people, much poorer people than you. So in other words, you have what you have. There are people even poorer than you. You should be satisfied with what you have. And of course, we can try to help the poorer people too. And we have said before, Harav Galinsky, ztz'l, had said before, that Hashem showed this to us b'chlei hamishkan, in the utensils of the Mishkan. Sheha-aron, the holy ark, the aron, romes kayadua l'talmud chacham. The ark, the aron has to do with it. Is symbolic of the Talmud Chacham. Yuma, Amud Beis, Ayin Beis, Amud Beis. The aron is symbolic, is a symbol of the Talmud Chacham. You can find that in Yuma, the Talmud Yuma, Daf Amud Beis 72. On the second page, the Shulchan Romes La'ashiros. The Shulchan in the Mishkan has to do with Ashiros, with riches. The people should have what they need. Yezras Hashem. Baba Basra, Chafei Amud Aleph. In Baba Basra, the Talmud Baba Basra, 25th Daf, the first page. When the Torah describes the aron, the Torah describes them as in the measure plus the half, but they're not full. Amosayim v'chetzi arko, 2.5 should be its length. The amo v'chetzi rochbo, and the nama and a half should be its width. V'amo v'chetzi komoso. And then one cubit, v'chetzi and a half, should be its height. In other words, it's amasayim v'chetzi. That's everything is in halves. Orko, v'amo v'chetzi roshbo, v'amo v'chetzi komoso. Everything is. You have to have another half. It's not complete. It's ended up with a half. Shemos chafei yud. Shemos, that's the 25th yud. The Ilo HaShulchan, by the Shulchan it says Amosayim Arko. The Amo Rochbo, by the Shulchan, which has to do with Ashiras, with food, with sustenance. That Hashem helps us with food and sustenance. What does it say? It says Amosayim Arko. 2 cubits should be its length. The amo, and 1 cubit should be rochbo, its width. In other words, we're not talking about a half, we're talking about 2 cubits and 1 cubit, and it's shalemim, that's full measures. Sham chav gimel. The amos shalemos, we're talking about full amos. Lomer l'chot, to tell you, shele inyan haTorah, sorech ha'odam ladas, sha'adayin chatzor hu, v'yediyosov, v'yesh lo ko harbe lahashlim. So this is what Hashem is telling us, that the inyan HaTorah, having to do with the Torah, with our knowledge of the Torah, or doing what the Torah says, sarech ha'adam ladas, a man has to know, we have to know. Sha'adayin chatzor hu v'yediyosov, we're still only know half of what we have to know. We're only doing half of what we have to do. V'yesh lo ko harbe lahashlim, and one has to have a lot more to make things shalom, to make things whole. Mikol tzad, from every side. V'hoyu ha-keruvim parsei kanafayim lamala. The keruvim, the angels that the parsei kanafayim lamala, they were spreading their wings lamala, they were upwards. In other words, they were striving upwards. Sham chaf laha'afil v'lidda os v'lanisok mala. They're striving upwards, pointing upwards. In other words, having to do with the Torah and the doing of the mitzvos. Shulchan midosov shalemos, and the Shulchan is everything is shalemos. It's complete. In other words, what is there is there. It's not a half more. It's a complete thing. Lahoros sheyihi sameach b'chelko, to teach us that we should be happy with what we have. We should be happy with our lot. A person should be happy with his lot. V'hevdil nosaf b'tzivoy ha'aron ne'amar v'yasu aron. And another difference is b'tzivoy ha'aron, when Hashem commanded to make the ark, ne'amar, it said v'yasu aron. One should make the aron. But it says it in a lashon rabbim, and the asu, they should make it. It's like in plural. Shemos chafei yud. V'lashon rabbim, in a plural term. V'ilu b'tzivoy asiyas hashulchan, when it says to make the shulchan, ne'amar, it says v'yasisa shulchan, you should make the shulchan. V'yasisa, you should make shulchan, the table. Shum chav gimel. So the shulchan has to do with sustenance, things having to do with with what we need for olam hazeh, tzarchei olam hazeh. So that it says v'osisa shulchan, you should make it. It says it in a singular way. Sham chav gimel. V'lashon yochid, it says it in a singular way. Lomar l'cha, to tell you, sheberuchnios yesh lihi kolel b'tzavto. V'bechinas kinas sofrim tarbe chachma. That in ruchnius having the spirituality, we have to get together and meet each other and try to do things together. Bebechinas kinas sofrim tarbe chochma. The jealousy of sofrim, of the scribes, makes even more chochma, even more wisdom. Baba Basra, Chaf Aleph, Ayin Aleph. That says it's in Baba Basra, 21, page 21, the first page. V'ilu, in the first part of the page, the first daf. V'ilu benish b'gashmios, but gashmios ya'asok kol echad b'shalo. But by gashmios, food and drink, etc., things having to do with that, ya'asok kol echad b'shalo. One should be concerned with his own. In other words, you have a certain amount, whatever you be satisfied. We should try to be satisfied. Velo yipol l'reyehu. Don't start looking at your velo yifozol l'reyehu. You should not look at what your friend has. Odenu notzer imo. Odenu notzer ami mi ora mi aldusi. Rabbi Galinsky is talking about something that happened when he was a child. He was at that time. He was at that point. He was 8. There was very little to eat. Everything was limited. So he went. And he was thinking, he was looking at the plate of his sister. He thought she had more food than he did. Nidma hoyali shehi gedusha yoter. He thought that she had more than he had. Lefesa sofakti stira. So at that point, he melave osi ad hayom. At that point, he felt that he shouldn't be doing that. But this has to be looked up. The Fesa Safakti Stira. Vehima Lava Osi Adayom. This was with him even to this point, his whole life. Tabit Letzalachat Shalcha. Look at your own plate. Don't worry about what's in the other person's plate. He or she might have a little more, don't worry about it. Malacha loteish ayin lekedera hazulot. Malacha loteish ayin lekedera hazulos. Don't worry about what the other person has in their plate. So in other words, having to do with Divrei Torah, try to do even more. Try to do it with other people, and try to strive for higher. Things having to do with the olam hazeh, with the guf, with eating, drinking, so that don't worry about what the other person has. Misameach b'chelto. Try to be happy with what you have. And here's more from Harav Galinsky. You can learn it. It can be learned over here. So this is Harav Galinsky on Parshas Emor, in Vayikra. Oh, thank God he has a lot. He had a lot to say over here. So this is, here we go. This is Harav Yaakov Galinsky. zt'l, and one can pick this up in English, where you have this in Hebrew. Okay, this is Harav Yaakov Galinsky. Vihigadata. Harav Yaakov Galinsky, zt'l ala Torah. Yashikayach. Kol Tov.